Hi and welcome to my little corner of the world. My name is Staffan Karl. Some of you may know me from Ernst Wilhelm's word, from his satsangas and the forums where I'm quite active. The Cards of Truth forum and the astrologyvideos.com forum. I'm a student of Ernst Wilhelm since late 2019. I believe it was just before the COVID when I fell in love with the Cards of Truth system and realized from the first moment actually that this was going to be my thing, and indeed I'm deeply in love with Cards of Truth, and I'd say it's probably my main astrological instrument, although I'm learning the Aditya astrology, and I'm very fond of them too. But anyway, so this is an intent to keep alive, to revitalize, hopefully. Pardon my English. I'm Swedish originally. I live in Mexico, so my first language is Sweden, and then Spanish, and English is only my third language. I do what I can. Have bearing with me, please. I know I'm my mouth doesn't want to speak English. I have to oblige it to do it. Anyway, Ernst has been extremely busy, both I believe in private matters and also as a teacher and astrologer, developing the Aditya and handwriting courses, a lot of deep courses, and frankly hasn't had time to, has abandoned the card, has had to abandon the cards for several years. And I spoke to him like a week ago, and unfortunately no change in a close future. So I told him, well, what about me trying to finish your course, the unfinished course on the 52 spreads? And he was positive to the idea. So that's what I'm trying to do to the best of my capacity, picking up where he left off. For those of you who have been studying with Ernst on the Cards of Truth course, he covered the first 11 spades cards, and then they have been lying there for quite a while unfinished. So I will try to do what I can, to the best of my capacity. I'm not a teacher. Maybe I am, but I don't have the habit. I was hesitant whether I should call this a course, because if this is a course, I'm a teacher, right? Which I'm not. But I do have Venus exalted in Parjanya or in Aquarius. If in Parjanya, according to the Aditya system, it's exalted. So, and it's in the 9th house. So that's at least promising. And then that I have to do it in English, which I'm not very comfortable with. Well, I'll do my best, and if it works, if it flies, wonderful. Then hopefully I can perhaps even finish the course. That's the goal, to cover all the rest of the cards. How many will there be? 43 cards to go, right? But let's see if it works or not. And then Ernst also spoke about he planned to give a course on the underlying and overlying cards, and that didn't happen. It was, I think, 4 years ago or something like that, and I don't think it's going to happen in at least a few years from now, according to what I picked up from him. So I thought that, well, I can do that. Now I have no idea what he was going to actually teach us about it, but I have been dealing and done a lot of thinking on the overlying and underlying cards. So I want to give it a try, to give my version of my understanding of of these cards. I think it's quite important. Actually, I think it kind of changes the whole perception of the cards. It adds so much to it. I mean, when we see a tarot card or a Spanish deck card, if you have seen those, or an oracle card, any card, or a rune, what you see is a principle, a force in nature, and a life experience of some kind, right? But a card in the Destiny card system or Cards of Truth system, it has roots. It comes from a previous experience and it grows into another experience. So there is a movement, a direction. And the force with a direction is a name for that. We call it a vector, right? Like in physics and engineering. A force with a direction, that's a vector. So it's a little different concept. And when we learn to read a spread, to deeply understand a spread, a birth spread, we're going to start with Queen of Spades. Then we also get an extremely deep understanding of that card, what it's the intention, what the direction. Everything that Ernst does, except for the mythology that he relates to, is modular, Like, you learn the cards. If you're an astrologer, you learn the planets, and you learn the rashis, and then you put it together. And that way you don't have to remember 1,000 yogas or special cases, but you work with modular items coming together. The same in the card systems. We know the numbers, we know the nature symbols, we know the suit, etc. And when we put them together, the position, all those are, modules that when we put them together helps us to understand the system. And now, with the overlying cards, which of course Ernst has already related to, but we're going to do it in a deeper and a more elaborate way. We also understand the intention of every card in a deeper way. I think this is best shown by an example, so I'm going to pull up my own chart because I have there is a cool example there of a complete change, actually. Chain. Although this is the card of change, right? 5 of clubs. There is a very interesting chain, quite typical chain. We often see them in I would say in most or maybe every spread of overlying cards. That, if we study them, helps us to understand at least 2 things. One is we're going to get a deeper understanding for this spread and what it's all about and how the energy moves and how Jupiter works with, some other card. But also when we do a card casting, a normal card casting, like a tarot card casting, and let's say 2 of clubs show up. Why 2 of clubs? I'm going to show you. Because I choose it because it's such an easy principle, such an easy card to understand, right? Well, we're also going to have a context for that experience, and so we can tell people, the client or ourselves or anyone who needs to hear about this experience, where it's going, its direction. Why do we have? Let's say if it's a tough experience, like 7 of hearts, it can be just giving up something, and it doesn't have to be painful, but oftentimes it is, right? A 7 of hearts experience oftentimes is tough. Why do we have to have that, or why do we have to endure? Well, because out of that experience, Ace of Spades is developing, right? And then Ace of Spades in turn develops into a 2 of clubs. But let's start with Two of Clubs, because it's such an easy experience to understand. Because it's coming together with something that is going to help us to grow in knowledge, right? It's finding a book, finding a good teacher, finding a university course. So we are going to gain knowledge, right? And we come together with the source of that knowledge, typically a book. So we find this marvelous book that we're going to read. And what's going to happen? Well, our girlfriend is going to call us, or boyfriend, or our mother, or someone there, and they want to spend the weekend with us. And when we're not going to have time. Or maybe we're just lying in the bed reading a book, and our dearest person wants to cuddle, right? And we have to say that, unfortunately, I'm so deeply into this matter, I can't do it. So we make a sacrifice. This is not the time. Try later, because I'm reading. Sacrifice. King of Hearts. The big card of emotional sacrifice. Very much needed for a student or for someone who is preparing for a test or something, right? And then the next experience, remember, this is a direction, it's a vector. So from Two of Clubs we grow into the experience of King of Hearts, which in turn grows into the experience of Nine of Spades, which is a hermit card, right? It's a very solitary card where we kill our ego. And of course, to be able to learn something new, we have to, you can't fill open a full glass of. You have to empty it first. That's what Nine of Spades is about. To empty our. If we are very arrogant and think that we know everything already, we're not going to be able to connect to new knowledge. So this helps us to empty our knowledge, get more humble. It's a humbling card, hopefully. It's a humbling card. Hopefully we're going to have that experience, and it's going to help us something new. Now in my spread, this energy carries on to the Rahu card, because Nine of Spades is the Rahu card of Five of Clubs. And, it even begins, where does it really begin? Let's say it begins here, in the Mars card, with giving up something. It's very easy for Five of Clubs to accept a loss, an emotional loss. Because in Mars card, we fly away from that experience. So we just have it, and we fly away from it. That gives us the experience of Ace of Spades. We are born again. We discover something new. There is a newness to the next experience. I'm a new person now. Like myself, I have left so many groups, with which I have identified deeply, and I have left them. And then there is a newness to my life experience. I'm a new person now. I'm not participant in that group anymore. And now I want to learn something new. That's Two of Clubs, right? As we just spoke about. So the Mars experience sends me over to my Moon experience, where it's a rebirth, right? So I change like a snake. I change my skin and come out as a new person, and that leads me directly to my ecliptic card of letting go of something, because the overlying card, Two of Clubs, take me there, being the underlying card of the ecliptic card. And the ecliptic card takes me to the Rahu card, where I have to establish friendship with the word in solitude, in letting go of ego. Five of Clubs is badly beaten up by life, because we have to have this experience. I read yesterday about I saw a video about this YouTuber Michael Francese, who was a mob leader, and who ended up in jail, and then he left the mob, and he spent 27 months in solitude, in absolute isolation. The reason I mentioned him is that he's a 5 of clubs. And in that isolation, he finds his spirituality. So that's a 5 of clubs spirituality for you. You have to give up something and emotionally, and in isolation you find yourself. The result of this experience is 6 of spades. Being more independent, stronger, healthier. So it's a good thing for us, right? So this will be part of the course. For every spread we are going to look into the underlying cards, because not only of the birth card but in every card, because they help us to understand what it's really all about. Like here we see how 5 of clubs has to give up emotional stuff for to be reborn, for to be motivated to study, for to be and we end up in solitude, which makes us healthier, right? So that's how it works. And then, as I said, also it gives us a deeper understanding for every card in isolation. So when this card shows up in a client's reading, you are going to have a 7 of Hearts experience. You know more what it's all about. It's about growth, of course it is, but it's about rebirth, and it's about connecting to something new, right? So you let go of something emotional, and that makes you new as a person. It prepares you to find yourself in another role, in another context, and learn something new, and finally become a much stronger person. It's quite obvious that it works that way, but the cards, studying the underlying card, really confirms that is what happens. Okay? So what more? I plan to produce 3 videos on each card. So first I'm gonna start with let's see if I have one here. This one, I think, let's see, is Queen of Spades. So that's what we're gonna start with. Then we're gonna analyze in the second video the overlying cards, not only of the birth card but for all the cards, to understand it, the spread a deeper way, see how the energy moves and so on, how the cards work together really. And finally, I think I'm gonna follow the example that Ernst said, looking at the year spreads too, especially since there are some very interesting things. I mean, for example, the moon card, Queen of Spades, is very, very independent, right? And this is the moon, the year spread of the moon card. And look at this: 7 years old, 9 years old, 11 years old, 5 of Spades, struggling for their lives basically, right? Or having a very tough experience emotionally. 8 of 10, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and then 13. So that really stresses out how Queen of Spades learn from an early age to be independent. So I think I'm gonna try at least to do the year spreads too. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I find any audience for this, for a starter. One thing I wanted to mention, I live in just a fun reflection, speaking about overlying cards. I live in Maya land, in Chiapas, at the very border of Guatemala, and there they still use a calendar called Cholquij, and it consists of 20 energies, similar to the cards or similar to a zodiac sign or something like that, and 13 numbers that are combined into a year, a calendar of 260 days. And the thing is, they also work with 3 layers. So each card, each energy, each nawal, they call it, is born from another one. And they see it as like the day of the conception. So I was conceived in an day. That's the energy for the symbol is like maize, the maize plant, and it's all about family and clan, group, and leadership of a family. That's where I come from. My birth card, so to say, birth nawal is imosh, that's water, and it grows towards toch, which is that's the destiny, and that's what we become when we become older, and that's the sacrifice, like something that it's a resin, a ball of retzina, or retzin, what do you call it in English, that you put in the fire as a sacrifice. So people with that in their spread, in their nawal design, like me, we have to make sacrifices, or otherwise we are going to be sacrificed by illness and so. But I find it interesting that they have this same idea of a movement, like a direction. Every energy is directed towards something. It comes from a place and it moves to another place. And to them it's Dia de Generación. I don't know what they call it in Maya languages. There are several languages, right? But in Spanish it's Dia de Generación, o sea, conception day. And it moves towards destiny. And actually I find it a little clumsy to use the words overlying, underlying cards, because oftentimes when you speak about it, you also mention Sun card or Saturn card, and it's card. It gets a little, what's the word for it in English? When everything comes together and it's hard to separate. So I'm probably going to use the word expression root and destiny for it too. Like when I say root experience or root, it's the underlying card, and the overlying card will be probably called just destiny or destiny card, not destiny card, that would be confusion. The destiny, we'll see how that develop, but I think we need another term for that, perhaps. So that's what I'm gonna do. What more can I tell you? Well, I don't know if I mentioned I'm a Swede. I live in Chiapas, Mexico. Before that in Chile. I have 3 kids. Actually, you can see my daughter behind me, and one of my sons too, but it's hard to see from here. So I have that experience. That is my stepdaughter, you see behind, and her cat. I'm married to Lupita, a brilliant card reader. She never studied cards, she just picked up a deck and knew how to read it. She's very, very good at it. In the Mexican tradition, it's more concrete. It's more about, she can tell whether there is a person working against you and whether that person is tall or long or old. Very concrete predictions. She doesn't do it a lot anymore, though, mostly for us, because people tend to ask the wrong questions, and it's not very satisfying when people are not actually helped. When predictions get too concrete, oftentimes that I think they stop being helpful. We focus on the wrong things, right? But that's Lupita. She's the one who created this wonderful ambient. Yeah. And the photos are mostly mine, you know. I have three of diamonds on my as my sun card, so, and a strong Mars. So hopefully one day I'll reach 5 of clubs in this course, and then I will happily show my photography. That would be cool. So I think that's all for now. I hope to see you in next video. I'm gonna start, as I said, with Queen of Spades. Yeah, and also I should mention, maybe I did already, but I spoke to Ernst, and he thought it was a good idea to do something, to make a course or something. So let's see if this makes me a teacher or not. That's all for now. Thank you.